We speak now to Michael Sun, the DA Gauteng Community Safety Spokesperson, following a tragic crash on Jan Smuts Avenue in Rosebank earlier this month, which claimed the lives of a street racer and an innocent Uber driver. Calls are growing louder to clamp down on illegal street racing in Johannesburg's suburbs. DA Gauteng Community Safety Spokesperson Michael Sun has raised the alarm about the pattern of dangerous, high-speed races taking places in areas like Fourways, Midrand and Northcliffe, with often very little intervention from law enforcement. He joins us now to discuss the growing crisis. Michael, thank you very much for joining us on Power Lunch today.
Good afternoon, Pabi, and thank you very much, and certainly a very good afternoon to your listeners.
So this accident that happened in Rosebank was devastating, but as you point out, it's not an isolated case, and I think many of us know the spots where the racing happens. So how widespread is this illegal street racing across Johannesburg?
It certainly was not an isolated incident in Rosebank. I've already got information that areas such as Midrand on Ellendale Road, on Cedar Road in Fourways are some of the preferred street racing hotspots for the illegal street races. And after the story broke, I've now been receiving daily complaints and information. I've received, in fact, a list of number plates of the vehicles from residents that have been observing and taking notes. So seriously, this is something that we shouldn't think it's some youngsters just chasing the need for speed, but it's becoming a serious crisis in terms of road safety and also in terms of criminality on our streets. The problem is that the innocent residents and motorists and even pedestrians are placed at risk because of this illegal street racing in our suburbs.
Now that, I suppose, is the very, very big issue, because even our Minister of Arts and Culture said that drag racing and stance will be an official sport in this country. So it seems to be that obviously people want to do. Street racing is very, very popular. Is there no way of formalizing it or making sure that the Uber drivers are off the road and the kids are off the road at that kind of time? Or is this just allowing something that's illegal?
I think I would never want to paint all motor enthusiasts. In fact, one person left a message on my Facebook to call himself a petrolhead. And I love that term because I love cars myself. Yeah. So we wouldn't want to paint all the motor enthusiasts with the same brush. Many of them are responsible. They, take on this hobby or this trade very seriously, and they do so responsibly and safely in an environment where, those the risks are reduced to minimal. Until such time, Pabi, that our national laws are changed, and I'm measuring specifically about the National Road Traffic Act, is changed. Street racing is simply unlawful. It is not that it's not important. I think, motorsports, it's a very important part of our recreation and sports within our country, but it must be done responsibly, safely, and take into account that there are places that's available so these sports can be carried out. But certainly our roads within our neighborhoods and communities is not a place for such a stance.
Well, I think that is a very responsible answer to my question. You've criticized, though, the decisive action or the lack, rather, thereof from JMPD and SAPS. What kind of enforcement gaps are you seeing on the ground?
Firstly, we are seeing reactive responses. Of course, the residents were to call to complain. And then you see some police operations going out. Yesterday, I saw there was a response by the JMPD spokesperson, which I welcome. I must say that it is a responsible thing to come out and make the public aware. But I think we need to take, initiative and be proactive as law enforcement. Police operation needs to be intelligent-based. Certainly, the police will have to infiltrate those illegal racing syndicates or organizations to understand what is the modus operandi. Are there any illegal bettings involved? And of course, I think the very traditional speed enforcement, the speed cameras needs to be deployed, both static and mobile, to ensure that the appropriate punishment would fit the discovery of offences. And certainly not just the motorists speeding, on the road, but those street races certainly needs to be brought down by way of a proper and stricter law enforcement.
But this is tough now because there are ritual weekend street races. So what kind of impact is that having on suburban communities? What have we mentioned here, Michael? Fourways, Midrand, Northcliffe, and of course right here in Rosebank.
It used to be that, street racers would take onto the roads either very late at night or in the early hours of the evening. But the one incident that we've seen in Midrand on Ellendale Road, where our ward councillor caught on video 6 or 7 high-powered BMWs and Audis racing down the road in the middle of the day. On a Saturday and Sunday mornings, the residents of Fourways are woken up.
Out and about, yeah.
So it's something that it's no longer in the middle of the night. It is now blatant, and certainly this kind of nuisance is impacting on the peaceful daily lives of our residents. Never mind, it's also very dangerous and unsafe, as I've mentioned.
You've escalated this now to Premier Lesufi. What kind of accountability or action or response are you expecting from provincial leadership?
We expect a multi-agency approach, a multi-pronged, solution to this problem. It shouldn't be left to, for example, just the JMPD or
Right.
just the SAPS. But I think provincial government itself, especially in Gauteng, needs to take all these resources available, all the departments that are responsible. As mentioned by you, Pabi, the sports and culture and the recreation department should get involved and see what other facilities that the government can put their resources
I think so
into.
too, yeah.
And at the same time, that we have better enforcement of our laws, so that we deal with this issue from all angles. And then we have our peaceful street back to our resident where they should be.
Solutions. You've mentioned safety, regulated spaces for racing. Do you think we have the capacity? Are we thinking realistically in curbing this trend?
I certainly do think so.
Yeah.
In the one email I received, the gentleman made very good constructive suggestions of abandoned airstrips that can be used for upgrade. There's some existing facilities, and I think it just in general sense of the motorsports environment, there are certainly places where these things can be done. But I think more importantly is that our resident needs to be kept safe. And this is my mission, to ensure that we not only highlight the problem, but we drive the government to ensure that we resolve those issues for everybody's sake. And my ultimate aim in this is to ensure the safety of our residents and safety of our motorists.
I'm sure this question has come out to you so many times, and it might be unfair. These may be just people who are drag racing, but is there evidence that the races are linked to broader criminal activity like gangs or drug trafficking? And if so, what should the public be aware of?
I don't want to call it, an organized crime syndicate. And I don't think that was the intention or the purpose of people racing on the street. But certainly it's becoming that when you have, a number of vehicles and people getting together to race on the roads and creating a huge danger for everybody, that becomes a problem. And I think recently there was also a social media video circulating that at a place where there are many vehicles and people got into a fight. So those are the concerns that we need to look at and say, is this becoming a trend? Is this becoming a bordering criminal activity? If it is, we certainly need to deal with it. But I think education and awareness is very important. Like I said, I'm sure there are many, many good motor enthusiasts out there that will do this responsibly and safely. So we look forward to engage with them and to see what we can contribute as a political party to ensure that we create an conducive environment that is safe for everybody. And, I really want to encourage those racers to do it safely, responsibly in an environment where they can have a good, clean fun.
Well, I love that suggestion. It may have not come from Petrolhead, of using old airstrips, finding spaces in derelict areas that we can clean up and make sure that people have the opportunity to race, because obviously this is something that a lot of people want to do. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Michael's son.
Thank you, Pabi. Always great to be with you.
It's Moses. He's a caller and he's on the line with us. Hi, Moses.
Hi, good afternoon, my sister. How are you?
All right, and you?
I'm good, but I'm not that good. I'm listening to you interviewing the gentleman, the Michael Frank guy. You know what happens? It's like, Papi, these guys, they will come and talk on the radio that we'll do this, we've got the capacity, we've got 1, 2, 3. This thing doesn't happen in areas where he actually referred to you to.
Okay.
Also on the freeway path, on a Sunday sometimes when people are just traveling, you could see, because we do e-hailing sometimes on weekend, you could see a high power BMW pass, shoot, after that a Porsche, shoot. And when you look at them, you said these people are racing. We cannot have a country that is so lawless. People will come and calm us by talking English, nice English, and they disappeared, and we are on our own. In this country, we are on our own, really. We don't have leaders.
But hang on. I mean, I suspect we're talking about different things, right? I mean, these are street races, rather, that seem to be organized for people to meet in certain areas and race their vehicles, versus two Porsche drivers who just want to show each other, who's more manly. What are your thoughts there, Michael?
Yes, I think perhaps the reason of being on the road is a bit different. But I hear what the gentleman's saying. I think he's sharing his frustration with us that there are also illegalities of high-speed racing on the freeways, and certainly one place we must look at. But I think we are looking at a common goal, is to ensure that our roads are safer. So the gentleman that's calling wouldn't feel unsafe traveling with his family on the road.
And 100%. Moses, I hope that answers your question, and we thank you once again, Michael.